Hey, Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for P5PP, only we're not picking 5. We are just scrapping with our kits. This is the layout that I have to share with you, and I'm going to share the kit first.
Hey, Scrappy Peeps, welcome to my channel, and I am going to share with you the September kit and then create my project. So you get these purple alpha stickers, you get these white numbers, and for the embellishment this month you have these papers say Our House is the name of the kit, and then just some word phrases. So autumn, it's all good. So all sorts of autumny, fall-y letter stickers. And then your 2 pocket page cut aparts, and then your 3 papers. So it is definitely a housey autumn theme and colors. I love that there's a hint of Halloween to it too. So September, those are your 4x6s, the 2 there. And then that is the B side, so definitely very Halloween. And these are all the 4x6 cut aparts. I love the purple, the violet, and then that pinky purple. This reminds me of Cosmo Cricket, some old Cosmo Cricket. Doesn't that look familiar? And then you've got that tone on tone with the pumpkins. I definitely want to cut out and hand stitch some of those. And you've got this green ledger school paper with that cool polka dot, this fall foliage tone on tone orange, and then apples and pears, maybe peaches. We'll go with apples and pears. Alrighty, so I am going to create a layout with this. I have printed, so when you get the kits you also get the printables for the cards, and so I have gone ahead and printed those so that I don't have to cut these apart. So I'm going to turn off the volume and off we go.
So I am starting with that orange leafy background, and that with the houses and the trees up the top is a 3x4 pocket card that I actually printed on lettered size paper. You can see that I also printed the border, so that card that I am holding there, the 3x4 card with the stripes, I printed down the bottom of the letter size paper, but I didn't like the way that the colors printed out, and I also wanted the strip to go all the way across, so I am going to cover that up with what it is that I want. You can also see one of the 3x4 pocket cards, the house. I fussy cut that. I did that off camera just to spare you, but it was a pocket card. And this is a photoless layout in that I don't have a photo, but I do have a screenshot of the text that I exchanged with my son at the beginning of this. So I will explain that this layout is about the process of my son out in Blacksburg, Virginia, 3.5 hours away at college, looking for his apartment for next year and his roommates. And so I knew I had a lot of journaling that I wanted on this. And I also knew that I more than likely was not going to get a photo, but I still wanted to document the story. And again, it is my perspective of his story. And so I A wanted a lot of room for journaling. B knew that I either was going to have to document this photoless or using a screenshot, which is what I went with. And B, I don't know what B is. Just no. C, whatever. Anyway, you get what my point. So I needed a lot of room for journaling, and I was going to have to settle for this screenshot. So I cut apart the card, the 3x4 card that said Home Sweet Home, and I originally thought I was going to use Home Sweet Home from that card, but I forgot that in the stamp set this month, you have the shadow and the outline, not the shadow, but the text and the outline of home. And I thought, oh, well, that'll add another fun color element to the top there. So you have these purple letters that I'm going to start the title with, and that says Seeking, and then it's going to be Home Sweet Home. So I was able to integrate the cards that are present into my layout. I love this kit. It's very cool, fall themed colors, and I liked the home theme and how I was able to integrate this story that isn't necessarily fall, but the colors worked perfectly for that. So I am, of course, using a PaperPerson ink pad, and so the colors coordinate perfectly. The thing that I struggled with here is I am actually, what I printed on was photo paper. So this is matte photo paper, and so it does bleed just a little bit because it's not as what's the word that I want? It's not as roughed up the paper as cardstock would be, and so it doesn't absorb the color as well. And that's one of the beauties of the PaperPerson ink pads is that they are super inky. And so that was tomato soup the color from PaperPerson that I used to stamp home, and there is the title up there. And so I know I'm going to use those pocket cards on the right hand side, and then a whole bunch of journaling will be on the left hand side. So I want to do a little pull out underneath, and I have a card that I printed from In a Creative Bubble, Geraldine from In a Creative Bubble, so what you can see through that hole or that half circle that I punched there is current, and then it says favorites because he has gone through, we being his roommates I guess, a fair number of choices and decisions, and there are millions and millions of apartments and houses and decisions to be made. And so I am going to get the top four from him and fill that out in that card underneath. That is not from the kit. That is something that I use to supplement because I just wanted to document the choices that were there too, which will probably be forgotten 5 years from now, never mind 15 years from now. So this is the only piece of paper that I have, and I really like the apples and the pears that are on the other side. So I know I'm putting this letter size piece on top, so I am trying to preserve as much of this that I can so that I have the best use of the kit as I can. So that is what I'm doing here is I'm just gutting the paper so that I have that little bit of pears there, or I could use the orange, whatever it is that I wanted, but trying to get maximal use out of that. So I've created my pocket with double-sided tape, and now it is time to finish the front of the layout because I know exactly where that pocket is and it's secured down there. So in using these strips 3x4s, you no longer have that white border between each of the three pieces themselves. So I'm just going to back a little bit of white cardstock there, you can see, and that way it gives me the continuity of the little white strip between each of the colors, and that will just be able to also then extend that all the way across the page, which to me just anchors it, especially if I were to end it, then it very much looks like a letter size piece, and you don't see, I just like the way that it is when it goes all the way across. So there's my fussy cut house, and I like that alignment there. In fact, when I was editing the video, I was like, oh, I really need to move that teal colored card that says local love down a little bit. So in the card, I bought two of the extra stamp sets this month. One was the sports and one was college. And I am going to use the working on my application. I believe that's from college. And I know they meant college application, but you still have to work on housing applications too. So I'm going to use that stamp in a little bit to apply to this so that you have the circle that's in that 3x4 teal aqua card, and by having the circle that says working on my application, you have another circle that just kind of, and then you have the circle that's going to be where that pull tab is for the hidden journaling underneath. And so there's a little more unity in that the roundness that's in the page there. I am popping the house up off the page again just for a little bit of dimension. There's also an awful lot on this right hand side, and so by pulling this bright orange red house off the page, I am able to ground it a little bit more, as well as delineate between all of the cluster of elements that is there. So lots of pocket cards that I have used here. The 8.5 by 11 is a pocket card. The stripe going all the way across is a pocket card, so that's 2. The purple home is where is 3. The teal one is 4, and then the one that was Home Sweet Home is 5. So I've used 5 of the pocket cards on this layout, which I thought was pretty cool there. So that is pretty much going to wrap up the cluster there. I am going to do a little bit of stamping. And off camera, I am going to, on that purple card that says home is where, I'm going to put TBD. I had toyed with putting a big question mark there, like home is where, question mark, asking a question instead of filling in the blank, sort of. But I used letters from an old paper person kit, the green letters, you'll see it in the close-ups, and it says TBD instead. So also this month you get these cool word phrases, and I am going to use new adventure underneath home sweet home on my title there. So that's what I have there. And that's the only word that I am going to incorporate into this, because there's already a lot of words, an awful lot of verbiage, because I also have an awful lot of journaling. Off camera, I always do my journaling off camera. I'm going to journal in all of that white space left on the left-hand side there, and that was left intentionally, specifically for my journaling. So I wanted to put this stamp that says working on my application on colored cardstock, but I actually don't like it, but I am able to use that circle as a pull tab. You'll see me do this in a second. Yep, so the green lined paper is on the back of what I stamped, and so that creates the perfect colored pull tab and pulls a little bit more of that dark green that's in the stripe into the remainder of the layout, because I don't have much of it there. I am then also off camera going to use that same paper with the lined stripes, the writing paper, and use my tab punch and put a green tab above home is where, and again that just adds a little bit more green and grounds the layout, and pulls all of those colors into the layout. So this is another one of the extra stamps that I purchased, and it just says college memories, because this is part of his college experience looking for a new home. And that is going to wrap up my layout for the most part. Sarah is also playing along this month with a really cool, I believe she's created a pocket page, or pages spread. So be sure to head over to Sarah Scraps' channel and see what it is that she has to create. Come back in 2 weeks, because we will be sharing another project with you created with the same September PaperPerson kit. I am really enjoying the kit this month. I struggled with the black and white last month. In fact, I have not created anything with it. I want to integrate bits and pieces, but I don't know that I can do a full layout with that. So here are the close-ups and the full layout. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you are doing well. Thanks for stopping by. Come back again soon. Take care.